Hello and welcome to my channel. So in today's video I will talk about some basic concept on SAP UI5. So I am pretty sure after completing this video you will have a clear concept about SAP UI5 and how it works. So let's start with that file and folder structure. So first of all, each and every UI5 there is a root folder that is basically name of your project. So for example, that is if you are prepare a project for the amazon.com, so it could be named like amazon.com. so here that is the main root folder of the project. Under that you will have another folder that is called that web app. Those all are the mandatory folder which is related to the SAP UI5. So under that there are some mandatory folder. Those are, that is the model, view, controller, I18N, then also CSS, images. So these are the main mandatory folder, and if your application have that formatter, then also formatter will be there. And there are basically three files which is under web app. These three files is mainly like index.html, then component.cs, and another is manifest.js. actually that is the JS file, I mean that JavaScript file. So basically there are those are the mandatory folders, and last three, those are the file. Okay, so you can see that those folder and file are those are under the web app. And you have that root folder. Under that root folder there are two file. This is project.js and another is UI5 dot YAML file. So basically that is the main structure of your SAP UI5 app, and that is the main folder and file structure of your applications. Okay, so now let's start with that each and every folder. I mean that to understand that what and when they are required. So when you start your SAP UI5 applications, you have to have clear concept about how those are works and what is the purpose and when you use which folder and file. So let's continue with that. So now first of all, let's start with that index. So here that is the index.html. So that is the main location of your applications. So basically when the user start their SAP UI5 URL, they basically start with that index.html. That is the main folders of your applications. I mean that main URL locations of your applications. So here, so for example, your locations is that for example that http .com. So by default actually the user will locate it to the index.html. Okay, so that is the reason the main and the first URL is HTML, and after that when the user use that URL to log in the portal, that time it do basically the two things. So first of all, you can realize that here that is the main SAP UI5 all library. So basically the SAP UI5 is the combinations of that libraries, JavaScript libraries, which call that framework. So that is the reason UI5 is the frameworks to build the Fiori application. So when the user first log in to the SAP UI5 app, then actually it download that all SAP UI5 app from that location, and it first located to the main source of the location where the SAP UI5 is located, and is download all related SAP UI5 related code to the browser. So after that, this browser is ready for your applications. So basically that is the number one. So this process basically this process is called that bootstrap. Okay, so bootstrap is nothing, it just load the all JavaScript library to your browser. So that is the first steps. So after that, actually it load the component. So what is component? So component is nothing but is starter of your UI5 applications. So starter means that all your Fiori applications will be start from that file or for that components, and when the user complete your activations, actually end in that component. So that is the reason this is the encapsulate that all SAP UI5 application, and this component is defined in the component.js. So basically that is the main defined in the component.js, and it has main three part. One is the that metadata, it could be like JSON, and that is the init function, and another is destroy. So when that index file it just start that component, because it's first already load the SAP UI5 core applications core library. So now URL already know about that SAP UI5, that as a part of the starter process, SAP UI5 call that component.js, and basically it just start the SAP UI5 app, and it has mainly three part. One is the metadata, second is the init function, and third is the destroy function. So init function, actually it is the it load the main some components or other function which is related to the SAP UI5 app. For example, it can be load like a router, it can be load model. So those are things to related to your applications. So whenever the application start, then actually it load the routers or it all data, and after that user can see the data or that router navigate from one view to another view. And another is the destroy. So basically this destroy is like clear the temp data or caches. So that is the starter, and each and every UI5 has that component. Without component file, it's not the UI5 applications. Okay, so now I can talk about some views. So for example, that is view 1. That is view 2. So view is just what the user will see. So for example, you have a page. In that page you have design is like that, and you have another view that is like so. When user can see a list of product, when they click on that product, then user can see the details. So that is view 1 and that is view 2. So each and every view will have the controller. This is controller 1, controller 2. So as I said that each and every view will have that controller. So what is the main purpose of that controller? So the main purpose of controller that view will be used only for the viewing purpose to the end user. So this user will see what is there, like it may have like list of product in a table. So in the table user can see the list of product and user can see details here. It can be another text or whatever it is. Okay, and that the controller will have that all logic related things. For example, that when the user login as a normal business user, he can see the some product based on his role, and when they click here it may have some calculations. All things is mentioned in the controller. So now there sometimes you may have some logic or function which is required for the controller 1 and also controller 2. So in this case you don't need to write that all the same function to both controller. So because that is the repetition of that code. In this case, what you can do, you can write in another controller, and you can just inherit from this controller. So that is the reason, as per the object-oriented programming, that is called the base controller. So whenever you require in the UI5, you will find that base controller. So base controller is mainly that you define the function here, and after that it's inherited from that base controller to the other controller. So basically that is the base controller, and from that base controller it can be defined, it can be inherited from both controller 1 and controller 2. Okay, so another thing is that, like for example, there is this is the view 1 and this is the view 2. This view 1 and view 2, it cannot be stated as a scattered. It will have a container. This container actually defined how it will be look like. So for example, here it is like it is look like that. It will have the two view. So here that is the view 1, view 2, and sometimes you may need like it will have that 3 view in the main page. So basically that is the container is type of 3 view. If it is the 2, that container is type of 2, because that is the, without the container you cannot keep the view. So that is the reason all views will have a container. So all view will have a, like for example, I can say like that. Okay, so this is called a container. So this container will contain that all views. So basically that is called that split or app container. Why it is app container? Because this container contain the view 1 and view 2, and this also you can see that is the split different views, like it split the applications using the view. So here it is view 1, view 2, or it is like view 1 and view 2, that is called that, like here it can be split container. Okay, so that is the main thing. So after that, based on the logic, it will first contain the main container of the application, and after that, based on your requirement and logic, actually it will start the view 1 and view 2. So basically this is the app container is another view, because app container, where the app container will stay, you will not confuse with that app container and the controller. Basically that is the container and that is the controller and that is the component. The name is similar but the functionality is different. And you will have that, like this is the container, and this full container will contains, it will under another view, it will under another view. For example, this view is named like app dot xml. Okay, so in that app.xml it contains the controller control, and this controller control actually contain that all view 1, view 2, you will have that many views. And if view contain the controller, because this controller used for the logic purpose, and whenever you need some that logic which will be used for the controller 1 and controller 2, then you can put the base controller, and this is the container. This container contain that all view, and you can see that basically that is the main app.xml, that is another view. So as I said that this is the main view, and view should have another controller. So basically there is another controller. I can put like, that is the app. This app controller, basically that is the controller of that XML. Okay, because actually that is the full is the on XML. So as that it is the view, it will have another controller. So this is the app controller. Basically that is the name is the same, and that is the app container. It's not the view, it's the it's stay on that app view, and this app controller contain that other view based on your design of your applications. So there's the main things, and the full logics and everything actually store in that all application related configuration is stored in the manifest.js. So for example, that is routing from one view to another, and the data model, everything is related with that. Everything is written in the manifest.js, because whenever you can see the manifest.js, you will have that full idea about that how your application works, how many views is there, what is the data source, and how is connected. Everything will be there. So the finally the if I just recap everything. So first, user browse your application URL. So it's first load the index.js. Index.js load the main UI5 library that is called the bootstrap, and it is also load the component.js. So component.js is the starter of your applications, and it start that app.xml. Basically that is the main first XML view, and XML view content the container control, and this container control will have that view 1 and view 2. So it could be like welcome message, and here it could be like list of product, and each and every view will have the controller. This controller basically used for the logical purpose, and whenever you will have that some logic which will be used for the controller 1 and controller 2, then you can write in the base controller. And as this is app.xml, that is another view, so that is you will have that another controller. So basically that is the another app controller, because that is the view. So that's all my site today. So let's continue with that other concept. So if you really like my video, please subscribe my channel, and if you face any problem, please comments. Thank you so much.